Hello, welcome back to Freely Shine with Dr. Amanda, and today we are talking about gym shoes and gym footwear and comparing three of the top minimalist options out there for those of you seeking new shoes to wear at the gym and what I would recommend. So most of us may or may not know at this point that it is important that we have the appropriate footwear when we're working out or lifting at the gym. And what appropriate footwear looks like is it should be minimalist. I'm going to do a whole video on why that's the case at another time, so hopefully you can catch that in the future. But today I wanted to talk about three different brands and comparing which ones are the best and which ones you use if you're looking for footwear for the gym. So first, before I compare the three brands we're going to compare today, which are Vivobarefoot, Vibram FiveFinger, and an Amazon brand, before we get into that, the thing that you need to look for when you're looking for a minimalist shoe for the gym is really that it is as barefoot as possible. And what that means is when you're looking at the shoe, you want to make sure it is thin, so there should be no cushion. It should have a zero drop, which means there's no toe spring or heel on the shoe. It should have a wide toe box. Why? So that you have plenty of room for your feet to splay out, and that it is extremely flexible. And this is going to allow your foot and your ankle to move the way that it's supposed to, especially when you're doing different activities, lifting, when you're doing squats. It's extremely important to have as minimalist or as barefoot a shoe as possible. The first shoe we're going to go over is the Vivobarefoot Primus Lite knit training shoe. And this is a shoe that actually I have been using the most recently. I got it a couple months ago and it's still holding up in really good shape. The thing that I love about these Vivobarefoots is that they have all the capabilities to be basically lifting in as minimal shoe as possible. So the pros of these, like everything we talked about before, wide toe box, which is great. They're very, very flexible. They're very light. They have no cushion, no toe spring, no heel. So perfect for lifting, squatting. I love these on leg days, of course. And the thing about these that are probably the negatives would be the fact that I wear regular socks in them. Ideally, it would be best if you had toe socks. That way your toes can really splay out, and that's going to help with increasing your base of support when you're doing your lifts. But typically I wear regular socks, and those have a tendency to compress your toes, which, I mean, it's still better than having shoes that are really narrow through the toe box, but ideally it's better to have like wide toe splay, and that's what you can get when you're fully barefoot. So that kind of is a limiting factor. The other negative of these shoes is the cost. They're probably the most expensive shoe. They are the most expensive shoe that we're going to talk about today. They cost brand new, usually like $160, $170 it looks like. And then right now, actually currently when I'm making this video, they are on sale for $136. But they are an expensive shoe. I've had these, like I said, for a couple months now, and they're holding up really well. I like the color especially. They have a lot of bright colors on there. The only thing is that they do tend to get dirty, even though I only wear these at the gym. I never wear them outside, so I change my shoes when I get to the gym. But overall, these are an excellent option, and of the three that we're going to talk about today, these are my favorite minimalist footwear for the gym. However, it does just cost a little bit more money, and a way to make them even better would be to invest in toe socks. The next shoe I'm going to talk about is the Vibram FiveFinger shoe. These are the KSO EVO Women's in black and rose. And the great thing about these, which is probably what makes them more superior to any other gym shoe, is the fact that because they're FiveFingers, you really do get a good use of your toe splay when you're doing lifts. And so if you're really really trying to get as barefoot as possible, these are awesome because they allow you to really focus on that mobility through the forefoot and in through the toes. And just like the Vivos, they have awesome flexibility. They may be even more flexible than the Vivos. I would actually say that these are lighter as well. The other thing too is they have no heel, no toe spring, obviously foot shaped. The negatives to the FiveFingers are going to be simply putting them on, right? Because initially when you first get them, it's really difficult, but the more you wear them, the easier it gets. The other negative to these is that they do tend to start to smell really quickly. And a way to prevent this from happening is obviously getting toe socks and wearing toe socks. For me, the hassle of putting toe socks on and then putting these shoes on is just very time intensive. So I don't typically wear socks with these shoes. They are machine washable, so I do wash them. But eventually it gets to the point where like every time you wear them, the smell kind of comes out. And so when I'm at the gym, I don't necessarily want to have stinky feet. Not that everyone is smelling your feet or anything, but that's probably one of my biggest negatives when it comes to the Vibram FiveFingers for wearing them at the gym. I do have the V soles, which are a little bit easier to get on than this. And I like those as well for at work, but you could wear them training at the gym as well. But these ones are $110 new. I got them for $50 because I got them from a patient who had purchased them and got the wrong size. So I bought them used from her, but they were hardly used at all. And again, I do really, really like these shoes. In terms of a barefoot shoe, minimalist shoe, they check all the boxes. It's really just a convenience issue in terms of getting your foot into it and upkeep and making sure that they don't get too stinky. Now, the last shoe that I'm going to talk about in terms of minimalist options for the gym is the L Runs. These are from Amazon. And in terms of minimalist footwear, bang for your buck, they are the most cost effective. They're only $32.99, which is awesome. For some reason, it's just crazy to me, the fact that minimalist shoes, they're minimal, right? So you think like, oh, it's less work to make them, but they tend to be more expensive. So this is a really good cost effective option. I have trained in these. These are like, I think 3 or 4 years old, and they're still in awesome shape. So they're really, really, they hold up really well. And like when it comes to minimalist shoes, what you want to look for, that wide toe box, which is great, zero drop, no heel, no toe spring, really flexible. They're not as flexible as like the Vivos, but, and they're a little, yeah, these are a little heavier too, but they also have a insert. And I mean, there's not necessarily a lot of cushion to this insert, but there is a little bit of cushion. So ideally, to make it more barefoot, you would take this out, but I have trained with the insert in. The other thing about these shoes is that there are holes on the bottom. So if you accidentally like go outside in them in the rain, your socks will get wet. So I've done that multiple times. So they're really, I mean, just keep them for indoor shoes. I think the reason is because these also function as water shoes, interestingly enough. If you look at the online description of the shoe, but in terms of a gym shoe, they work great and a really good cost-effective option, and they last a long time. So they're definitely quality made, and they have lots of different color options too. And so for those of you who are looking for a more cost-effective option than $160 Vivos, this is a really, really good starting spot, especially if you haven't owned minimalist shoes before. So in conclusion, my favorite are definitely the Vivobarefoots in general. These are the ones that I've been wearing the most frequently. However, probably the best in terms of having the most minimal barefoot option for the gym would probably be the FiveFinger toe shoes, as long as you can handle the inconveniences and the time, effort, and the maintenance and things like that. However, the most bang for your buck option would be the Amazon brand. So I'm going to link all three in the notes of this video so you can go out and look at getting ones for yourself. But overall, really make sure you have the most minimalist barefoot shoe possible and look for those telltale signs of a quality barefoot shoe, and you are not going to go wrong. Thank you for joining me, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, whatever you want to do. Just help us spread the word. Again, my mission in general is to really help people shine from the inside out, and so I appreciate you spending the extra time with me today to learn how to improve your body and improve yourself, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I hope you shine on, my friends, and I will see you again.